Hey. All right, this is Chris the Viking. Hey, this is Chris the Viking. I did this video a few years ago, and it turned out that YouTube deleted all the sound, so I'm having to do sound again. So what I'm demonstrating here is after you apply certain effects and filters to this crater on Mars that was taken by the European Space Agency, you start seeing things like cloud banks and what looks like fields or even like forested areas throughout here. I spent way more time than a human being should spend playing with these pictures. And these pictures come from the original TIFF images that the European Space Agency has since taken down. Uh, why they do these things, it doesn't really sound like they're being honest when they do stuff like that, so whatever. I have a feeling that all this stuff will come to light anyway. Now, when you look at the areas like down here and throughout here, you start seeing that there's more sort of organization to the gravel, if you will, that we were seeing before. For some reason, when you look at it as a red object, it all just looks like gravel. But when you take away some of the red, you start finding more stuff. I'm not exactly sure why I haven't switched off of this image yet. Uh, this crater is 5 miles deep from the surface, putting it at roughly 13 miles from the top of the atmosphere, which is very similar to what we have on Earth. And I'm, demonstrating here more. Look at this weird stuff. This is a 50-mile across crater too, by the way. So it almost looks like there is something creating cloud banks up in this region here, and those clouds are heading down, sort of like they might just be releasing humidity, boiling water, for instance, and then that water is trailing down towards the bottom part of the crater. I had to download this from YouTube, by the way. I'm surprised I was able to download it this fast. I must be looking at really shitty quality. Okay, right here you see what other people have referred to, and I referred to it, I believe, first as the Space Invader. It's not like I want to plant a flag on that or anything, but this Space Invader is something that we'll be looking at routinely as this video progresses. Right now, what I'm finding interesting is the organization of rocks on this platform here. There's not enough to tell you if they're anything or not, obviously, but what they do is demonstrate that there's rocks there, I guess. What I'm really looking at is all of this weird patterns on the ground. As you pan back, you see more and more of it. It appears to be generally on the flatter surfaces or the smoother surfaces the most, which is very consistent. But as you look, you start seeing shadows and other things that really make it look like there's plumage or I almost would think that those would be too big to be trees. But maybe because of the weird Martian atmosphere and stuff, when it grows trees, they grow gigantic trees. I don't know. Those could be clouds, little poofs of cloud, because as you see to the north, you have all this sort of stuff drifting down. So maybe the bumpage and stuff that you see up here is those clouds actually coalescing into actual clouds. I'll demonstrate later in this video how much. This is what happens when you remove all of the red and you just keep blue and green and then turn it to grayscale. You see a whole bunch. It's also very interesting how you see all of the geometric patterns, like there looks like there's cubes laying all over the place. Those could be boulders, obviously, and you know, pixelization would turn them cubic. But as you'll see as I go through these images and pan around, they don't just look like rocks. They look like others. They look like platforms and causeways. Like right here, the numbers that I'm showing you, I had in another video, is to demonstrate, and you see right here, there's your Space Invader. There looks like there is ruins on the bottom of this. Lots of ruins. I like the smiley face also. Has that little tear, so maybe it was in prison. This is another angle showing those numbers are the markers to show the same place. Like this is the Space Invader here. It's upside down. Kind of looks like a hazardous waste symbol with a tail. One of the interesting things is there's an image that you can get off of one of the Apollo missions that has this thing that looks kind of like that. You know, an angry head with a tail, like a dragon. Whoa, that went too fast. Okay, there's your Space Invader. This is one of the first images I made from this. That's another one of the first images I made. I played around with this a lot. That's where I started seeing that this looks like there's structure to this. Right here you've got only the red in grayscale. So when you turn it all red, you only see these clouds. That's a really nice image I made, by the way. Again, it's more showing it looks like that there's an atmosphere going, and where the atmosphere is thinnest, you get more green showing through, and that green just looks like farmland. Where there's more clouds, you can still see it through there, but you know, it's obvious that it's getting affected by the atmosphere above it. And there's your Space Invader, nice and clear, whatever the hell that thing is. Imagine it's probably a building of some sort, or, you know, NASA would say it's just an odd configuration of rocks or JPEG smearing. Well, I got this image from a TIFF, so it can't be JPEG smearing. Is there TIFF smearing? Fill me in. I'm not a graphic expert. Sorry, I'm hungry. I'm changing between stuff, but I'm not really seeing any change in the image. So I'll just let it go. Now that I go to grayscale, there's green to grayscale. You can see all of the stuff on the ground, all the green. When it goes to blue, you'll start seeing the clouds better, and when it goes to red, you'll only see clouds. That's the whole purpose of this particular section that you're seeing here. When you look around here, it almost looks like you can see shadows, and it looks like square buildings, which would be massive. They would be like, you know, gigantic aircraft hangar size buildings. But that's really what it looks like. This looks like three-dimensional stuff. It looks very man-made or intelligently made. It's not random nature. It was built by something. This might be one of those nuked cities that we hear about because of the amount of strontium-19 or strontium-9 that's in the atmosphere. Indicates that this planet was nuked. This planet was nuked big time. And millions of years ago. Okay, so now I'm showing you red, and as you can see, now all of this stuff here looks more like clouds. You can even see shadows under these clouds almost consistently across. So there's clouds there. There's no two ways about it. And where the clouds are, it's very difficult to see anything underneath. It looks like that there's some geography here, but it's hard to see the patterns in the ground that we were seeing. They are there, but it's almost like, yeah, there were patterns, but those patterns are also associated with landscaping, and we're seeing all the landscaping now that we're only seeing the red scale. If it's not clouds, then it's landscaping. We're not seeing the color of the ground and the contrasts created by that. And it's interesting because there is a correlation between the two, but the effect is consistent with what you would find looking at planet Earth. And I didn't do a video of this, but just go download some images of the Earth and start playing with color separations, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You get rid of the green and you can't see the lines on the ground anymore, but you can see how they've separated it. Oh, I guess that was blue, and this is red. Now that we're in red, all you see are clouds. You can see some stuff through the darker areas, but you can't see the ground anymore. But you can see the clouds really clear. You can see their shadows. You can see that they look sort of like pillowy, and they follow what looks like a weather pattern. There's fronts that have clouds, and then there's spaces in between the clouds where it's thinner, and it's exactly like it goes down on Earth and probably any other rocky body that has atmosphere. Water likes to stick to itself, so the clouds will always hang out together. This to me was where it became really obvious that I wasn't seeing an error, that I was actually seeing what was there. This video is kind of long. I did a lot of talking and blah blah blahing, and now I'm trying to talk and blah 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 over it. Just making my observations. There are some. I'm just focused in on this one region because it sort of produces the best result and the most variety. But there's some other parts of this crater that are very interesting, and I sort of pan around and look at that as we get deeper into the video. Yeah, so as far as I can tell, what I'm seeing is clouds. When you look at this image, there's no gigantic boulder here. You know what I'm saying? These aren't gigantic boulders. You would be able to see them in every color separation if that's what they were. And they wouldn't be such a drastic different color from over here as over here. What we're taught is that Mars is a fairly consistent surface. This is where I start getting into trying to actually discern what I'm looking at. And there's this big beam of stuff that goes up this way. And you can see it here also. And there's obviously some stuff nearby. Looks like a cloud. This is to zoom in on it to show you the scale of it. This thing's a mile high. And this section here, it's kind of hard to tell. It almost looks like a platform it's sitting on, but I don't think so. I think it's just a trick that makes it look like that. But these are clearly clouds, and they almost look like they're created, like a big chrome pillar or something like that. But I'll go with clouds. And when you look around the general area of this particular image, you can see that there's an enormous amount of variety of things going on the ground. There's that other angle of it, and it really looks like there's something here ejecting something out. Like there's clouds around it. It's really really strange image or strange object. Like maybe they're having to supplement the atmosphere in this particular crater. Maybe it's a geyser of some sort, but it's really a strange thing. It could just be a line on the ground that looks like this. I'm lost. I don't remember what this is. It might be the opposite. Yeah, look, this is the tower thing that I'm talking about here. And it almost looks like that there is a giant structure here shooting out whatever's coming out of there. This would be another angle of it. You know, perhaps we should ignore this. The angle isn't right for it to be a giant building because it would be sort of tilted into the ground. So whatever this is, it's something else. These clearly look like big giant, you know, UFO saucer things, or not saucer, but cigar-shaped UFOs. They would be a mile end to end at least. You can see it pretty good here. It almost looks like they're all parked. Now what I'm zooming in on is this really strange, it looks like a river heading down the side of this mountain. And then there's a circle here with mist around it. And when you see the other angles of this, you'll see what I'm talking about. Where I have no idea what this is. You'll see it just looks like a big fluff of sperm or something floating in the middle of the air. If you think about what NASA does when they look at the Earth, what they're doing is they're seeing a bunch of brown basically when they look at stuff, and they have to filter out the brown, and then they start seeing where the rivers are and crap like that. So essentially that's what I'm doing. And those TIFF images have tons of layers of colors embedded in them, so it's very easy to separate stuff out, which also suggests why they took this down, because people were finding way too many weird things on Mars. I don't understand these scientists. I just don't. They never entertain any of this stuff. Like, what is that? That's the same angle where you've got and then there's this ball floating above the ground, even has a shadow under it. And then what looks like the river now looks like it's raining down on top of this ball and making like a dome shape. I have no idea, man. Like this cloud here that this is making a shadow, and there's a black circle right there. So that black circle could be anything. It could just be the lake that it's all going into, and this might be creating a lot of mist, dense mist in the general area, and you know. I just thought it was really strange, so I focused in on it. And there's a lot of really strange stuff in this particular general region, as you'll see as I start showing other sections. I even found a perfect little pyramid. Somewhere on discs I have these TIFFs, but I can't find them anywhere. Somehow they got deleted, or they're just buried on this computer. I haven't reinstalled this operating system since I got the computer, but I think that I made this video on another computer that's hard drive was wiped, essentially. There's a closer up view of that thing. It's your brain really wants to make something out of it, I'm sure. What it actually is, I don't know, but it looks like there's something significant there. There's another image that I show that's even weirder than this one, and it's much clearer too, by the way. It's the really brown image. I think it's the one that comes up when on the thumbnail. Now I'm going back to that one again. Always nice to have a reference, right? Yeah, I know it's really rude to eat while I'm talking on a microphone, but fuck you. Could be a glacier. No, there's the weird image. There's another weird image like this too, but it it's hard to tell what I'm looking at again. It could be a lake down there, or a hole. Or it's a giant sperm UFO. There's a pyramid. And man, it just looks like a pyramid. Going back to all of that chaos. At one point, I was thinking ziggurat. You have those weird causeway looking things up there, where the number 2 is and where the 4 is. I just don't know. There's just too many weird. It looks like there's organization to this stuff. I really wish I had the original tips because they're razor sharp and this is not. Man, that Space Invader thing just looks scary, doesn't it? Yeah, that's good that I zoomed in on that. Yeah, there's the thing that sort of looks like a causeway or something. It'd be very tall though, so it almost suggests that's unless we're talking about 100-foot tall people. I don't know what they would really want with something like that. Yeah, this section here, you have this stuff over here, and it looks like there's. It just looks organized. That's all I can really say. You have like a ramp going up here that looks like stairs, even though we know it can't be because it's too high. But we do build buildings that do stuff like that, that have terraces. And it just looks like it's nonstop, that kind of stuff all over the bottom of this crater. When you zoom in on something, not only does it look like three-dimensional objects, they look like they're organized in logical ways. And that's the thing that really screws me up when I look at this. I can't accept that it's just random crap laying on the ground that's creating, or it's JPEG smearing, because for one, it wasn't a JPEG I got this from, and two, it, it JPEG smearing, it's more random looking than this. It doesn't create clouds with shadows and things. It just makes a lot of squares everywhere. insufficient data. I can accept these explanations, but I don't think that they're enough to shut down the conversation. I'm not sure why I focused in on this section here. I think I was thinking that these were like columns or pillar type things, but they would be laying on the ground. There's no shadows on them or anything, so they're just odd. And there's the whole causeway thing that I was talking about before. And it looks like it leads up to a step pyramid or something. Yeah, if I had the TIFF of this and you saw the clarity that I saw, you would understand why I would focused in on that. It looks like there's like a cavern up here or something that shit drives up into. All of this stuff here looks like the puke from a mine. Like they were mining and they were just throwing the fill out here and piling it up. And it looks like that there was a lot of excavation going on in this general area. Hey, I don't have anything to sell you guys. Sorry. Make your own damn t-shirt. This image is better if you kind of view it from, a few feet away. Most people got their faces right up to their monitors, and I wouldn't do that with this image because you sort of need to see the whole thing in your binocular section. My cat thinks I'm going to give her a meatball. It's never happened, and it never will. Because those meatballs are for Chris. Again, it's just something to observe. Get back kind of far, and it really does look like there's something intentionally done here. People make terraces because they're easier to deal with. Nature doesn't usually make terraces, even though it does in some cases. Yeah, now there's the I didn't know what I was looking at here, and I really still don't, what that big black square is. I had a lot of speculation that it was like when people walk up this thing, they walk past here, and this is maybe uh, a temple or a building where people can look down and see the people walking up into here. I've seen stuff like that at several pyramid sites, especially in the Mayan sites. They have lots of buildings where you can stand along the causeway that leads up to the big pyramid. Now, this pyramid, I don't think it's a pyramid. I think that there is ruins of a pyramid there, and then a lot of other crap around it. I think it's a very sprawling complex. Your eyes sort of make it look like it's a profile, but it's not a profile. It's more of an overhead, and you have to keep that in mind when you look at that. And that's what it looks like to me, is just a crazy giant rock that's been carved up into into a pyramid. What's interesting is when you look at the NASA picture from this crater and compare it to the ESA picture, they don't even look the same. Like the same bump in the middle is there, and the walls of the crater are there, but the floor of the crater, it almost looks like they went and got it from another part of Mars and painted it on there. It doesn't look anything like it. Like even when you look at the straight, undoctored images, it doesn't look the same. One of the interesting things also is that I was never able to find this effect anywhere else in any of the other pictures on Mars, except for one other crater that happens to be almost as deep as this crater. And there's what looks like a lake in the middle of that crater. And around the edge of the lake, you find that the same stuff. So it looked like there was a big city and a smaller city. I'm flipping through some of the images. This is the raw image. I must be getting close to the end. There's that spermy looking thing. Yeah. There's the spermy looking thing again. If you look close, you can even see it there. Going through the grayscales again, just to show you. There's blue, and then red. You see that it just sort of takes out the color. Yeah, you can see the spermy thing. It's right there. This is a good image here. There's another one. And all these things are sort of worthy of a great deal of study. See your pyramid right there? Red, green. Yeah, I'm just flipping through the images. I must have been playing a song here or something. That's a pretty cool one. Don't exactly know how to explain it. So much stuff. When you look at this image here, the one that just went by, the big image, the one that looks like this, you can still see all that stuff there. It all looks like it's there. It's just so redded out that your eyes don't really pick up on any of it. Unless you're somebody like me who goes, wait a minute, I see a whole bunch of stuff going on. There looks like there's clouds and lakes and stuff underneath all this brown. Yeah, I absolutely see it all. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. There's obviously a song playing now. Yep, and that's me with clothespins hanging from my eyes. People think that I did that for that picture. I used to do it all the time, and somebody just got a picture of me doing it. So it was a boring job, I must say. So that's it. I'm not going to do any more. You saw it all. I managed to keep talking most of the way through it. So yeah, I'm sorry that I fucked it up back in the back when I originally made this and put too many copyrighted things in there, and they just deleted the sound. So, yep, Chris the Viking signing off. Of course, leave comments and stuff like that. I'll try to replace the video that's up that's broken with this video, so everything's good. But if not, I'll just upload a new video. So later.